Hello, friends. So, afternoon though it is, Bible study goes on. When I can give it my proper attention, because it is real study. Now, today we are actually going to do all so the NIV John chapter 21. And we're going to do all of 21. It's verses 1 through 25, because this is actually one real solid message. And this is the end of the Gospels. This is it. There's only 4 Gospels, 4 apostles, messages in here. Okay. And that's it. The next, tomorrow when we go through and we'll be starting Acts. So this first parable is called Jesus and the Miraculous Catch of Fish. Afterward, Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. It happened this way. Simon Peter, Thomas, called Didymus, and Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, so that would be John and James, or Zebedee is really what it is, Zebedee, and 2 other disciples were together. "I'm going out to fish," Simon Peter told them, and they said, "We'll go with you." So they went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize it was Jesus. He called out to them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" "No," they answered. He said, Throw your net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." When they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the large number of fish. This is not the first time he's done this with them. Then the disciple who Jesus loved, it's going to be John, okay, said to Peter, "It is the Lord." As soon as Simon Peter heard him say, "It is the Lord," he wrapped his outer garment around him, for he had taken it off, and jumped into the water. The other disciples followed in the boat, towing the net full of fish, for they were not far from shore, about 100 yards. When they landed, they saw a fire of burning coals with fish on it and some bread. Jesus had said to them, "Bring some of the fish you just caught." Simon Peter climbed aboard and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153. But even with so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, "Come and have breakfast." None of the disciples dared ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. Jesus came, took the bread, and gave it to them, and did the same with the fish. This was now the 3rd time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead. So he needed everything to die down and quiet, so that the Pharisees were no longer seeking the people that were Jesus' disciples to kill them. They needed to see them go back to normal life so they could be in safety. But they don't know what's coming. Like they're doing my will to thy will, because my will to thy will means that he tells you to do something and then you do it, and you wait until he tells you to do what's next. But when he tells you to do what's next, you do it, and you don't ask him why. You just do it, because all of it is a test Can you do my will to thy will? Because that's how you get to heaven. Jesus reinstates Peter. Is this next parable? We're on verse 15. When they finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you truly love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said. You know I love you. Jesus said, feed my lambs. Again, Jesus said, Simon, son of John, do you truly love me? He answered, yes, Lord, you know I love you. Jesus said, take care of my sheep. The third time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him a third time. Now remember that Peter denied Christ 3 times. So 3 times he has to tell him that he loved him to undo the denial in the first place. Do you love me? He said. Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my sheep. I tell you the truth. When you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will dress you and lead you to where you don't want to go. Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, follow me. Peter turned and saw that the disciple whom Jesus loved, this is just more John jabbing at Peter, was following them. This is the one who had leaned back against Jesus at supper and had said, Lord, who is going to betray you? Which would mean in the painting of the Last Supper, he's indicating that it is the disciple John that is leaning against Jesus in that whole thing. Which is, and it's Peter, you'll notice that it has like the dagger. Peter was the one who was the warrior. When Peter saw him, he asked, Lord, what about him? Because, there's contention between the two of them. Because these are the two that were arguing about who would lead. Now, specifically, Peter is being told here something to do. Feed the lambs. Right? Take care of my sheep. Feed my sheep. Peter is the cornerstone of the church. Of the church that is Christianity. The church that goes on to be all of what is the Gentile nations. All over the world. Peter successfully did the job that God asked him to do. He is to become the cornerstone of the church. He's being reminded that he is supposed to be a priest. And he has a job to do. It is time for him to be activated to go do exactly what he successfully ends up doing. But right here, he wants to know, what about John? Like, why are you sending me? What about him? What does he got to do? Jesus answered, this is verse 22, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is it to you? You must follow me. Because of this, the rumor spread among the brothers that this disciple would not die. But Jesus did not say he would not die. He only said, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is it to you? So, okay. What this really is Jesus telling Peter to mind his business. The Lord has things for each of us to do in this life, and we're not supposed to lust after what is not ours. Don't worry about what work other people have to do. Put your head down and do the work that He has given you to do in the first place. That's what He's telling Peter. Mind your business. Because there's a difference between secrecy and privacy. Secrecy is when you're trying to cover up something you're not even supposed to be doing in the first place. That's when you have secrets. Privacy are things that others aren't even entitled to know. You don't get to know what everybody else's divine mission is to do, and you don't get to decide what that is to do. It is not yours to do. Focus on the work He has given you to do, and not the work that He's given others. This is the disciple who testifies to these things and who wrote them down. This is John. He's telling you it's him. We know that his testimony is true because it's himself writing about himself in the third person, which I gotta say, like, really, John? In the third person? Come on. Jesus did many things as well. If every one of them was written down, I suppose that even the whole world would not have room for the books that would be written. John definitely loves Jesus. There's no doubt about that. So, as we go about our Sunday today, remember that people have things to do that don't have anything to do with you. All right? He gives people to do the things He needs them to do. Let Him deal with what they have to do. You focus on being where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing, and don't concern yourself with the business of others. Do the work that has been given us to do, right? If we keep our head down doing what we're supposed to be doing, where we're supposed to be doing what we're supposed to be doing, won't have troubles to start off with. I like that best, rather than having messes to clean up. Don't make the messes at all.